Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another Spiritualistic Pick a Card reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your throat chakra. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with calling in manifestations. Group 2 in the center with Finder of Lost Things, and Group 3 on the right with Revisiting Priorities. As always, if you're interested in meditating with me, that is the first link in the description box below. The timestamps to your readings are at the very end of the description box below, and in the middle there you'll be able to find my spiritual store on Etsy at Spiritualistik, which is where you can book one-on-ones with me, such as tarot, channeling, astrology, astrocartography, and Reiki. You can also find my published tarot and oracle decks, books, journals, intention candles, crystals that were hand-wrapped. Every single thing on there was handmade by me, tuned to a specific frequency, and they're all resources in order to help you grow or just have a nice little tool along your spiritual journey. At the very least, it's a nice place to have a little energy exchange if you're interested in that. And if you would like as well, I do post exclusive content on a YouTube membership channel here, as well as on Patreon. I've got a book club going on if you're interested in that. It's fully donation-based. We're currently reading The Power of Now. I post on TikTok and on Instagram. My handle everywhere is Spiritualistik. You can find most of the links in the description box below. I've updated it recently, enough that most of them are in there, but every single thing, I think my book club is the only thing that's not in there right now. But with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. It is one of the best ways you can show me your support over here on YouTube, apart from, and of course, interacting with my store, doing a personal with me, or just supporting me on social media, as I love to do what I do, and your support helps me keep doing it. So with that being said, thank you for being here. I'm grateful for you, and I love you, and I'll see you over at your reading. Namaste. Hi, Group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're channeling a message to you from your throat chakra, and you selected the first group with the Calling in Manifestations card. Group number 1, you have a very powerful throat chakra in a beautiful, divine, blessed way. However, this power might be something that you find others love to maybe debate or argue or try to shrink. Now, it doesn't need to be the case, and I'm certainly not putting that on you. But the first thing I'm getting is that your throat chakra is a powerhouse. You have so much strength, so many blessings behind using your throat chakra, using your voice, particularly, that I'm getting, it's so easy to pick up in your aura that the things you have to say matters. That the things that you are here to share, the messages that you have to share, the voice that you have when you sing, the words that you write, the ideas that you have and speak on, write about, sing about, these are divine. And this is actually a portal to your greatest abundance, your happiest, most fulfilled, most abundant timeline. Using your voice is exactly what will help you to call in all of your desired manifestations in this life, in this world. And I'm getting for a lot of you, like it did before. Most of you in another lifetime. If that's something you resonate with, something you remember, or it can even be, sometimes I like to just throw this disclaimer out there, sometimes it can feel like we live several different lives in this life. So whatever version of that energy speaks to you, your throat chakra wants you to know that it is a powerhouse. And also wants to give you this reminder before we get into the tarot, when you speak your authentic truth, when you share the message that you have to share with the world, the first thing it's going to do is challenge, confront, trigger, and repel the energies around you that are not worthy of the message that you have to say, or that do not want you to speak upon what it is that you are. The first thing that is going to happen when you utilize your authentic voice, when you are genuine, which you are, the first thing it's going to do is confront the ops that are around you, group number 1. And after that, whether or not you feel like you're alone, whether or not there are a few people there, then your truth, your voice, well then call in those who want to hear what you have to say, who are ready to hear what you have to say, especially coming from you, because maybe you're the only one saying it. Maybe you're the only one who has written the songs that you've written. Very likely. And for a lot of you, because it is simply coming from you. Perhaps it's because you have a compassionate delivery. Perhaps it's because you know what you're talking about. Perhaps it's just because you are finally someone who's speaking up about the elephant in the room. Your throat chakra wants you to know here that this is your most valuable asset in this life. Now, not that the rest of your chakras are not valuable assets. This is not to say that you do not hold a gift in each one of your chakras, but it is to say that your throat chakra might be the one that gets challenged the most. With this energy can come the vibe of being, like having your ideas stolen in the workplace, for an example. Maybe being raised in a home where I'm hearing children should be seen and not heard. It can be an energy where you're around someone who's constantly challenging you, regardless of whether or not they're even listening to what they're saying. They're already arguing it. Oh, I had a really nice day. Today's a beautiful day. No, today's not a beautiful day because They didn't even hear. Oh, it's really sunny. No, it's not because... And then they're making something up. Just challenging, triggering, all of those energies. So your throat chakra wants you to know that you've been through the thick of it. Now, continue to stay steady with your vocal expression, because you will now call in those who are ready, willing, and able to appreciate and cherish who you are and what you have to say. Your throat chakra is like your siren song in the world. Not to seduce or allure or manipulate, but it is a frequency that resonates with your core vibration and calls in those who can actually understand what that is, grow into understanding what that is, appreciate what that is, resonate with what that is. Because when you speak, you deserve to be heard. And when you listen, you deserve to speak. It is not transactional. However, a big part of your calling here, it is to be heard. And group 1, you've spent most of your life listening. Group number 1, you're an amazing listener. I can get that already. And being a good listener, an active listener, it's a wonderful tool and gift to have. And you understand what that is. You've learned that so painstakingly, so beautifully, so add both sides of the spectrum there and everything in between, because you're meant to be heard. It's kind of like you know that you can be loved because you know how it is that you love. You know that you can be heard because you know how to hear others. Now it's time for you to speak. It is okay if you are not expecting to be listened to, or if you are not used to being listened to. You will. You will get used to it, and it will begin to feel more and more natural and authentic to you. This is not a one-way conversation, but if you think about, as one example that will resonate with some of you, but not all of you, of course, it's general. Your music, the relationship you have with your listeners, with your audience, with your fans, with your lovers of your song, that relationship goes one way. That does not mean that you don't listen to your fans or read the fan mail that they will send you. It doesn't mean that you don't take their desires of maybe which genre they like to hear from you into consideration. It doesn't mean that it's a fully transactional or that you don't listen to them kind of situation. But one's job is to speak. And others enjoy listening. And they'll enjoy listening to you. They'll enjoy reading what you like. They'll enjoy hearing what you have to say. And whether that is something that ignites authenticity in you immediately, you love it, you're standing in it, or it takes a while for you to boil, to warm up into it, into comfortability of it. It is okay. But you will be fully shining and expressing. And this will be your path to abundance in this life. Getting into the tarot here, messages from group number 1's throat chakra. What would you like to tell group 1 here? I'm hearing not to take reversals, so if you've been following me for a while, I take sometimes that message from my guides just to let me know. Not all the time, of course. Okay. You are meant to share 2 things mainly. Well, in the way that's authentic to you, okay? I'm not going to tell you your medium of using your voice. That is for you. But you're called to express your story and what you're passionate about. Now, these 2 things will intertwine. There will be something beautiful that cracks open from the center of these energies. And let it be imperfect. If you're not used to being heard, you might not be used to speaking without being spoken over. You might not be used to speaking without the vibe in there or the thought behind it of, oh, well, no one really cares anyway. No one's really listening. So, one thing that your throat chakra wants to tell you is that it has always been very obvious how much you have to offer, how powerful your voice is, how beautiful your voice is, how valuable your voice is. And that is why it can often be coveted so that it can be controlled or hidden or signed away. I'm getting like a transfer of assets kind of energy here. However, what is yours is yours. Energy does not lie. Your throat chakra wants you to know that you are 9 steps out of 10, more than that, you're almost at 10 out of 10, energy of abundance, perfection, completion. The difference here is you started with the spiritual work. Your journey ends at 10, not at 12. You did the 11 and you did the 12, and then you climbed through the 1, 2, and 3, not understanding maybe why. You did the actual hardest part, and then you're thrown back to square one. But you keep climbing, and this is why. Your throat chakra is the bridge between your physical experience and your spiritual experience. But your mastery of both is exactly what makes it the way that it is. It's exactly what makes it so divine, so worthy of being heard and listened to. You're being encouraged to continue to speak up. Enjoy listening to your own voice. That might be triggering for some of you, or you might just not like hearing that, because oftentimes when you're around people who just really like to hear themselves talk, they don't often have anything to say. However, people who are, I say gently, victimized by people like that, for that reason, they don't like to hear themselves talk. They don't like to talk about themselves too much because they're around people who constantly talk about themselves. So coming from that energy to enjoying listening to yourself talk. Not to project it on others or utilize it as a tool to whatever, as was done to you or as you've seen around you. Rather to fall back in love again with your voice. Your throat chakra loves you. Your voice loves you. Whether it takes baby steps and years, or you find it and it explodes, or it's a little bit of one way in some contexts and a little bit of others in the other contexts. It's okay. The message here is to understand that the reason you were silenced or muted is because your voice is exactly how you end up breaking the chains that were bestowed upon you. Not just that, but realizing why you were such a perfect candidate for those chains in the first place. Unveiling what it is you really have to say, what you really have to offer, and how that can very much be a threat to the status quo. On top of that, your voice calls in your manifestations. It brings in abundance. It brings in people who resonate with you, who lift you up, who exalt you, who support you, and your voice supports them as well. Think about your favorite musical artist in a way where their music helped you get through a hard time, and if you can't pick one, it's okay, just the vibe. Now, on the receiving end, if your voice is being put out, your throat chakra wants to show you that you might feel like this is a selfish act. You want to speak, you have something to say. Your voice matters. It does. But if you think again to that musical artist that was really there for you when you really needed it, they might not even know that you exist. They might not know. No one else might know. Maybe everyone knows that that artist is your favorite. But that doesn't change the depth and the intimacy of that relationship. That doesn't change the value of that sweet space in your heart that artist can touch. Only that artist can touch. Because it was their voice, or because it was their words, or because it was their story. And so naturally, you want to lift them up because they did the same for you. You were shown an example of what it is you're meant to be in this world. This is abundant for you, it's fulfilling for you, and the way that it gives back is exponentially more than you can fathom. But you're not called to focus on that right now. It might help you with motivation. It might help you keep going. It might be a wonderful way for you to justify your voice. However, your voice deserves center stage. Your voice deserves to be heard. You deserve to get to express yourself and be genuinely heard and cherished and valued and understood. Simply for what you have to say. Simply because you're saying it. That is an energy that you're called to hone in and focus on. The rest are beautiful and wonderful, and they will have their moment. But right now, your throat chakra wants to be the star of the show. So dip your toe into the water or dive on in. Either way, this is how you call in your abundance, your manifestation, and put you exactly where it is you're meant to be in this world. So, your throat chakra says don't be afraid to dive in. I'm hearing come on in, the water's fine. You might dip your toe in because you don't know about the temperature. The sooner that you make your throat chakra the star of the show, the sooner the abundance comes in. That is the factor on time that you have here. It is not about saying the right thing or how many people you can give to. If you dip your toe into the water, it takes a little longer to get there. If you dive on in, it's a little bit faster. Both are fine. You don't do what you're meant to do. You don't be yourself. You don't speak up. You don't say what you know, write what you want, sing how you want to because of the results that it yields. You do it because it's authentic to you. The journey to get there is your own, and that is the part where it's a co-creative aspect. Your throat chakra is so much more intrinsically connected to your path than you thought. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But isn't it weird how sometimes you have the most to say with the least amount of listeners? Isn't it odd how when you start to speak up the truth, sometimes you'll find people trying to silence you? Isn't it coincidental that the one who has the most value to add is tossed in the back of a thrift store, and the one with the least to offer is up on the stage? Group number 1. Focus on your throat chakra. Let it be the star of the show. Close your eyes to the rest. Keep your chakras balanced. When it comes to the outside world, keep your eyes closed. Keep those chakras aligned and imbalanced. But when it comes to the way that you navigate your life, throat chakra is the star of the show. I'm getting things like keeping it more consistently open for you will be helpful. I'm not getting that your throat chakra is closed. I'm not getting that it's out of balance. I'm just getting that when it comes to getting more used to, let's say, lifting heavier weights or building endurance with your throat chakra. So things like maybe singing while you're doing the dishes intentionally. Things like speaking some of your thoughts out loud to yourself, of course. Things that are kind of filling that sound with your throat so that it gets a little more comfortable engaging in your everyday life, being a little bit more of a main character. That's a healthy practice for you. Some people need to stop doing that. Okay? You're learning how to take up space with your voice. This is your message from your throat chakra. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. Have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and group 1 specifically. I dare you to drop in the comments. Well, I invite you to drop in the comments. Anything. But if you'd like to share something in the comments that you have been hesitant about speaking on or speaking up about, in general, with anything, this is your safe space to do so. Let the comments be your practice. Because you're not the only one listening to this reading, but you are the only one with your voice in your story. So, trust in your sovereignty and your individuality, and also that you're not alone in the ways that count. A community of powerhouses, all beautiful, special, individual in their own right, none of which in the same way. Wow. Could you imagine if we got all of you together in a room? You changed the world. Group number 1, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like a personal with me, those are in the description box below. If you'd like to meditate with me, it's in the description box below. I've got a spiritual shop on Etsy if you're interested in intention candles, crystals, journals. Okay. My tarot and oracle decks, so on and so forth. I'm on Patreon, TikTok, Instagram. I've got a member channel here on YouTube, so you can check me out if you feel so inclined. I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your throat chakra, and you selected the second group with the Finder of Lost Things card. Group 2, your throat chakra feels like it's a channel. Straight up. It feels very, feels like a radio antenna. You might always speak channeling your higher self, channeling source, divine, a spirit guide you're working with. Maybe you channel different collectives, different guides. You could just work with clients and work with their passed on loved ones, their spirit guides, deities. Doesn't necessarily need to be so specific. But I'm definitely getting channel energy. For some of you, you're not even aware that you do this. Your throat chakra is a channel. Very strong channel. But you're not just channeling words. You're channeling frequencies. Another message that's coming through here is to remind yourself that throat chakra rules truth. You channel truth. So it could be that if you are not like trance channeling or something like this, it can also be that you always speak truth whether or not you intend to. You might have an intention of allow me to only speak the truth no matter what it looks like or how it feels or how comfortable I am with it. Allow that to always come through. That is an intention that I have marked on my throat chakra. It's something I did before I started my channel. So there's something like this where you might always speak the truth, and it might be the unpopular truth that people don't want to hear. It might be that you hold your boundaries. You might stand up for people who are getting bullied. You might just be a lover of life. You might like to stand up for social justice. You can also be a trance channeler, but you are a channel. You are a channel of truth. Your throat chakra wants to remind you with the Finder of Lost Things card here, specifically that your throat chakra is powerful, but it's important that you have your voice too. Ultimately, though, your voice as an individual is one that can be channeled externally as well. Now, this might be because you have a powerhouse higher self. It might be because you resonate with being maybe historical figure or powerful entity in a realm or something like this in a past, present, future parallel life. That is not everyone's flavor of spirituality who listens to this, and that is okay. It does not need to be. Energetically, it might be that you connect with your soul, your heart, your truth. It might be that you keep a journal every single day. It might be that you end up becoming a historical figure in this lifetime that later in life people look to. People understand. People want to understand, what is your truth? What was your perspective? What is your advice? What would it be about this? And so here we have this connection between truth to your truth. That pipeline between objectivity and subjectivity. What is your biased truth? But you speak unbiased truth. So with the Finder of Lost Things card, you are being encouraged, two things: to explore your truth, your unfiltered truth, and express that, but also to utilize this channel that is your throat chakra to explore new or lost truths. Specifically, maybe lost things, maybe ancient knowledge. I'm getting an adventure you can go on. There's a trip that is coming up for you or something like this. And it might be spiritual, it might be astral, it might be emotional, it might be mental, it might be a dream. Okay, it might be, trippy. Okay. However, there's something that is going to be revealed to you about what? I'm getting endings and beginnings. It might be about creation in and of itself. It might be about the fact that everything that is finite exists in the infinite. Therefore, finite anything is only an illusion. It might also be about the fact that you no longer associate with one truth. It can also be that you've come outside of duality. Maybe you have not conflicting aspects, but coexisting aspects of you. You might have two opposing beliefs or opinions. They don't need to conflict each other. They can simply coexist in peace. But because of this, it shed light onto a larger truth for you, or it is going to shed light onto a larger truth for you, of you, by you, through you. There's something about the interconnected web of all things. It can be oneness, consciousness. It can be something like I'm being shown mycelium. It can also be something along the lines of grid work, but it's giving vocal here. It's not light language. Light language is subjective, more or less, in the same way that if consciousness is objective, dogs and cats are subjective. Okay? If channeling cosmos is objective, Pleiadian light language is subjective in this way. But there's something about the truth, beyond the semantics here, there's something about the truth that's coming through, as well as your ability to not only see things for what they are, but also to speak the truth, specifically before they become widely known or popularized. Your throat chakra wants you to know that there is good in all things, but also good and bad only coexist in a system where they both exist. There is a world where neither exist. In fact, most of the world is where neither exists, and this is where truth, energy, frequency lies. the throat chakra is not ruled by air, it is ruled by space. Truth is spatial. You may also find that I'm hearing prefrontal cortex for some reason. I'm also being shown like spatial awareness. Your connection to perhaps shapes, patterns, or I'm also getting something like interior design or feng shui or something can also help you to be channeled through your voice. For some of you, automatic speaking, trance channeling, but doing it of yourself or your higher consciousness, your highest self source, if that's not something that you already do. For example, say that you are learning about feng shui, you really like it, you're thinking really hard, what should go over here, what should go over there? Well, you've been learning feng shui, and also you have access to source consciousness. So if you close your eyes, take a deep breath, and you go 3, 2, 1, and you channel 3 pages of where things are going to go, taking your brain out of it, and you channel it with the intention of it coming from your channel to higher consciousness, you might find lost ideas that would not become to you. You might find lost truths of feng shui that have not yet been rediscovered or have been lost a while ago. You might find things that you like that you thought you had lost. You didn't know where they are, but you might have channeled, oh, you know that, those bows that are underneath your bed in that Christmas box? Oh my gosh, my bows, I forgot about my bows. Well, they're gonna go over here. So this is where you find lost things. Let's see, group number 2's throat chakra. What would you like to tell group number 2? What would you like to tell? This is interesting. Your throat chakra almost wants to be channeled as though it's its own energy, which is kind of cool here. Okay, so one thing coming through is that your throat chakra would like for you to take better care of it. This might look like vocal exercises. This might look like tea if you do honey or agave or anything like that. It's looking like things like this. Okay, it's looking like warming up, cooling down, speaking truth, maybe steaming, doing oil, whatever works for you. It's looking like it's asking for a little bit of mechanical love there as well. You can do vagus nerve massages, buccal fat massages like in your cheeks, right? Little cheek massages. Things like really taking good care of your oral health, oil pulling, flossing, brushing, tongue scraping, right? Go into the 9s here. It feels as though you are seeking in some way an ability to enact justice or fairness, utilizing your throat chakra in a particular way. You have the consciousness, the spatial aspect to it, but it feels as though there's an emotional connection that hasn't been as present as you would like it to be. And so you're also being called to remember that there is a connection between the sacral and the throat. Specifically, if you have a womb, there's a connection between your womb and your throat. Okay? There's some sort of an emotional connection that is present that wishes to be unlocked and explored a little bit more here. So perhaps speaking on your emotions a little bit more, emotionally charging some of the things that you're saying, authentically to you, of course. Also, space is objective. Emotion is, by definition, subjective. So again, it's finding there's the truth and there's your truth. And there's finding the way that those things funnel into one another without them becoming distorted or twisted. Because you have a subjective truth does not make something the objective truth. But if you're aware of the objective truth, you can honor that and still your subjective truth. It's what you choose to anchor into. It does not erase your individuality, of course. Your throat chakra does want you to create something utilizing it more. Notice we have 188, we have 313, we also have 999 coming out as well for you. It seems as though you are looking to not repeat something of the past. You've outgrown it or you've transformed out of it, but as you transform, you're now fit to an old environment of yours once more. So it might be confusing, feeling like you're walking a few steps backwards, or you have, not with your throat, but with your life. There seems to be a gift that you have here Perhaps it has to do with languages or expressing, channeling. Again, we had light language come through, but it's giving objective. It's giving objective. So it might be that you actually have a gift with languages. It might be that you like languages. It can be that you have there's a spiritual gift where you can understand what is happening in any language at all, even though you don't speak it or you've never heard it before. You can automatically understand what is being said. Love that one. There's also a spiritual gift where you can perhaps, you can pick up the energy of a book and you already have downloaded the information of the frequency that's in the book. You don't really need to read it. I mean, you can if you wish to walk that journey word by word, but that is because you wish to have that experience. So there are gifts like this that are coming through. I'm also hearing some of you might be able to speak in languages that you haven't fully studied if you are in a particular state of consciousness or a particular state of mind. Okay. Don't knock it. I have friends that can do that. It's very, very cool. Okay. Your throat chakra wants you to become less worried about the way that it's perceived, its reputation, and the abundance that may or may not be around you at this point in time. Would like you to forget about material matters and outside perspectives and focus on perspective itself. Your perspective. Truth perspective and your perspective. There's a reason why something is not coming in at this point in time and why you're being encouraged to be strong. The more that you take care of your throat chakra, the happier it will be with you and the gentler it will be. The gentler it will be, the kinder you are to yourself. The kinder you are to yourself and the gentler your throat chakra, the more approachable you seem and feel. Now, you're not being encouraged to shift dynamics to become more approachable. That is absolutely the opposite of this. You're being encouraged to utilize your throat chakra attuned to truth to find lost things, whether those things are your subjective truth or even conscious spiritual realities. But your throat chakra wants you to know that you do have abundance on its way for you right now, but you're being encouraged first to find what you like and what you don't. The connection between your throat and your sacral chakra. There's something here that has been difficult for you for a while, that you are not sure whether or not to speak on, or whether or not to make it public information, whether or not to speak up about it or speak on it. And you're being encouraged to follow the way that you feel about it. There is not a right or wrong. There is the truth. Maybe there is a good idea. Objectively, the logical thing to do. Or what you hear from others. And to allow yourself to activate this channel as though you are channeling yourself. As though it is something external to you. This is not saying to disassociate or remove yourself from yourself, but in a similar way of asking yourself, how do you feel? And channeling it, automatic writing it, just letting your fingers on the keyboard go crazy without it touching your mental state, just a pure stream of consciousness channeling your inner self. See what feels right and resonant for you. The same way you could your higher self, the same way you could the cosmos, the same way you could a collective or a spirit guide or a deity or a passed on loved one. And for some of you, it's the opposite as well. Most of you, it is the way that was described, but there are a few of you who are like, well, I don't do that, but I do write. I do write a lot. I do know what it's like to put a stream of consciousness down on paper. If you're interested in channeling, try automatic writing. That might be your gateway channel. But your throat chakra wants you to know that it is preparing to reveal a very large truth that has been long lost, that feels like there was an end that was put to it intentionally. I'm getting like to bury something, like something that was buried or covered up or something like this. Therefore, treat your throat chakra with love and kindness, physically. Maybe it's having a teaspoon of oil, like olive oil, or taking good care of your dental health, doing vocal warm-ups. If you drink like warm tea, or if you do agave or honey or whatever you do for that. physically taking care of your voice, of your throat, of your channel, and your truth. Physically take care of your voice, your channel, your truth. Emphasis on your truth. The reason why something is not in yet is because your truth has not come to light. When your truth comes to light, you will have overwhelming support. The solo journey is almost over. And your throat chakra is saying that soon you will hear something that you can take to the bank and will allow you more freedom to follow your heart. This is why your voice is so important. This is why taking care of your voice is so important, specifically at this point in time. Things don't change overnight until they do. Group number 2, that is your channeled message from your throat chakra. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical world. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Patreon. Join my members channel here on YouTube. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram as well. And if you're interested in a one-on-one with me, I do offer personals at this point in time. They're on my spiritual shop on Etsy at Spiritualistik. It's my handle across all platforms. I have a whole spiritual store on Etsy if you want to check it out. Got tarot and oracle decks like the ones I use here. I do channeling sessions. I've got light codes, Reiki, astrology. There are candles, crystals, journals, books, so on and so forth. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. If you'd like to meditate with me, it's the first link in the description box below. Don't forget to check it out. I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today, I am channeling a message to you from your throat chakra, and you selected the third group with the Revisiting Priorities card. Group number 3, the first thing that I'm getting here for you is that your throat chakra is a little bit tired. I'm hearing exhausted, actually. There's something that you speak on a lot, and it feels maybe unheard, or you feel as though you need to speak 100 words for one of them to be heard. It's giving, I don't know how you were raised. It doesn't need to be this specifically. Hi, Erin. We got cat bombed. But if you're around people who, like, yell a lot growing up, for example, you might feel as though you're not heard unless you speak louder. And so you might grow up in, like, a house of yelling or something like this. It might be that you were muted a little bit, but your throat chakra right now, it's feeling tired, okay? It feels a little bit like you want to say less, and those fewer words have more of an impact. And this is where the Revisiting Priorities card comes into play. Your little tail, it's so cute. So, there's definitely this vibe of, I'm getting in how many different ways can I say the same thing? Or how many different times do I need to repeat this? Or how many words do I need to say just for you to understand that I'm speaking to you? I'm also hearing the song Work by Iggy Azalea, the part where she says, kind of nobody knows how many floors I had to scrub to make it past where I come from. So there's this vibe of definitely a come up for you here. And okay. So there's a little bit of this dualistic vibe here where your throat chakra feels a little bit like overworked, or like you've been speaking a lot, or that you've needed to be speaking louder or more just for, like, maybe just to be heard. There's this vibe of wondering if you can turn it up a notch, but also simultaneously if you can just be quiet, find stillness. Some of you might be craving a few days just in silence. Some of you might be craving someone to deeply listen to you and care. It feels like you are a wonderful listener, but nobody listens to you. It feels like you have your priorities straight, but you might feel like you waste so much time around maybe over-explaining yourself. A lot of you literally just get interrupted every single time you go to say something, to the point where part of you is like, fine, then I just won't say anything at all, or to the point where you have to wait for your turn so long that maybe you feel like you can't get a word in edgewise. It can also be that you're around a very, very chaotic, busy, or noisy environment as well. So it could be that, say you're in a loud restaurant. Maybe they're blasting music, and maybe it's happy hour, so people are drinking and they're yelling because they're drunk and there's music and it's loud. And so you're just trying to share a meal with a friend, have a conversation, and it's very, very noisy. So you have to yell as your default just to maybe be heard. It doesn't need to be that. You could also live in a town, a neighborhood, a country where there are a lot of people, or there's a lot going on, a lot of hustle and bustle, to the point where there's just sound pollution, noise pollution all over the place. So with this revisiting priorities card, there's this desire both for silence around you and also from you, because your throat chakra is tired. But also there's this desire to be able to whisper and be heard and taken to heart. So let's see what your throat chakra has to say to you. It feels as though you're coming to a landing point, a nice healthy place, but you might feel as though, you might feel exhausted when you get there. When you achieve some sort of success, okay, say that you work really, really hard for something, but it's so hard that by the time that it arrives, you're not excited about it anymore. You're just kind of relieved that now you can stop, torturing yourself to try to attain it. And it might be something that's basic, right? Like trying to not even get your point heard, because it's not about an argumentative situation. Maybe just trying to be able to get a word in edgewise, right? To the point where you're so tired of being stalled out by your environment that by the time that you can finally say what you wanted to say, now you're just so exhausted you don't even care anymore. It's kind of a vibe like this. Your throat chakra wants to let you know that things are shifting and changing for you, and that the unspoken word is rarely considered more important than the spoken word, but it actually is far more important. A lot of you might not be around people who are able to see the unspoken word. This also might be for some of you a little inkling for you to write, okay? Write the things that you wish were heard, because they might not be heard, but they might be read, okay? For some of you, if you're content creators, I'm getting captions on your videos, okay? Captions on your videos. So, your throat chakra wants to tell you that, first of all, you're awesome. The things that you have to say matter, and also you deserve to be heard. There's this energy of when you are, you might be a very good performer, or you've got a really good stage presence, or you're a very good public speaker, or you're an amazing writer. They want to let you know that you do your best in some sort of a public format speaking. And it's just part of who you are and what your throat chakra is kind of aligned to, attuned to spiritually. It's part of your dharma is what I'm hearing. It's going to be important moving forward that as you revisit your priorities, you continue to put yourself first. Your throat chakra wants a little bit more of a selfish energy for you, not like self-serving and in a way that would be perceived as negative or arrogant, but yet again, a little bit more in this way of self-preservation in the long term, okay? For example, if you are, say you're meeting with a friend, okay, let's use that loud, crowded, crazy restaurant example again, okay? If you're yelling, at the restaurant with your friend just to have a normal conversation, you might be having fun, right? But the next day, if you have to give a speech, you might be losing your voice. Or maybe you're not losing your voice, but it gets strained, right? I'm being shown Miley Cyrus. She overdid it so much that she has to really take good care of her voice now. She doesn't tour much because of the conditions, because it matters so much now, because she didn't have those boundaries, didn't know to have those boundaries when she was younger, okay? So there's something like this that is significant here for you. And it's not about yelling. I'm not really getting that most of you are yellers, but it could just be that you are burning yourself out. It could be that you are, again, I'm getting that vibe of there being so much external noise to you that it requires a divine amount of patience, to the point where what could take 2 seconds to say ends up taking an hour, to the point where what could be written in 5 minutes gets written in 3 hours. It's if you've ever tried to read a book and there's someone around you who's consistently trying to have a conversation with you, and they know you're trying to read. They're just not respecting the fact that you're trying to read, and so it's hard to read because, you know, they're talking to you and then they're expecting an answer from you, and so then they're almost requiring your attention there. And so there's kind of this energy here over your throat chakra. It's almost like, it feels like divine interruption, but it's not divine. It almost feels as though your patience, your sitting with it, is the divine energy here. But it also kind of gives the vibe that there's something that is like intentionally trying to interrupt you, intentionally trying to cut you off, because what you have to say is so special and important. There's almost this energy of, if we can get group 3 to run out of their voice. I'm getting like Little Mermaid vibes here. You know how Ursula like steals her voice or whatever. There's this vibe of, if we can get group 3 to say the most, to over-explain themselves, and we have all of group 3's information, they were never heard, and then someone else can turn around and mass produce it, or someone else can turn around and they can say that they're the one that did it, or they can turn around and they can write their book, but it's really your book, or something like this. If you can lose your voice, then you're not out there talking, you're not out there standing up for yourself, you're not out there self-advocating, you're not out there sharing your truth, your story. But it's almost like, I'm also getting like bugged walls. This is such an interesting energy. I'm hearing the song Fly on the Wall by Miley Cyrus, and we were just speaking about her, which is interesting. I've literally never channeled Miley Cyrus here. Maybe a few Hannah Montana songs, but there's a little bit of a vibe like this. Your throat chakra wants you to know, okay, that you don't need to speak if you don't want to. Allow yourself to create in nonverbal ways. There's a reason for this. Some of you might be writers, or you might be dancers, or you might be painters, and there's a reason for this as well. Because there are so many ways for you to speak without saying a single word. Some of you might be interested in or around like nonverbal situations. Like you might have an interest in sign language, or friends who are hard of hearing and speak sign language. You might have friends or loved ones who are like nonverbal for any reason. So there's something here about communication that is nonverbal being important somehow in your path, because this is being called in some way to be your creative priority. Although that is not where you're currently at or where your heart lies, so it requires some sort of a tower moment, but it's a gentle tower moment that is created by the self. It is a intentional revisiting of priorities, not the rug being pulled out from underneath. You are being encouraged to shift gears, not overnight, not quickly, not all at once, but gently exploring that, or exploring that once more, because there's something that is special within you that deserves to be heard. And the way that the message is conveyed is less important than the fact that the message is conveyed and the fact that you're the one sharing it. There's a lot to be learned from you. Hierophant with the Page of Swords, it's kind of giving master and student vibes, but Page of Swords, it's kind of more of a child energy. It can of course be student, but compared to the Hierophant, it's giving like old grandmaster sage vibe next to like a child who's learning the very beginning, right? So I'm getting that there's something that's waiting to drop, is what I'm getting. I'm hearing Drop by The Far Side, which is my song that comes on my playlist. I'm clairaudient, and I have like affirmation playlists and playlists I listen to for channeled messages for my guides and stuff. And that is a song that comes on to let me know whenever I've completed a cycle. Also, I just like The Far Side a lot. So, but I'm getting that you're waiting for something to drop. I'm also hearing the worth of my birth is $1 billion, and you know what time it is, I'm gonna make $1 million. Some of you as well, I'm getting, could be songwriters, and you might be speaking, you might be writing, but you might not be writing songs. Or some of you could be songwriters, but it's saved only for specific situations. I'm getting an energy where someone only writes songs when they're overwhelmed with the desire to write a song because they don't know where else to put that emotion, or it's just like the song is coming out of their ears, they just have to sit down and write it down, as opposed to it being a creative outlet for the message that you have to share, the one that you speak, the one that you feel interrupted trying to convey, the one that you feel gets copied and twisted and distorted, or the one that you feel gets yelled over, or the one that you feel you can't get a word in edgewise with. But if you have a message and you put it to music, then suddenly the frequency changes, but the message remains the same. If you dance it, the frequency changes, but the message remains the same. If you paint it, if you write it, if you sign it, the message remains the same, but the frequency is what changes. And so this is what you're being encouraged to consider. Your throat chakra does have another message here for you right now. I'm hearing, actually, get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. I feel like that is a pretty straightforward message there. Okay. Specifically, I do want to tell you, listen to Drop by The Far Side. I will let you know right now, okay, there is, I would just say, parental advisory warning on that song, okay? And it's less of an age thing and more of a, there's spicy language in there, okay? I'm just letting you know. Also, it's kind of funny. It does make me giggle a little bit, but the message there is, like, astounding. It's very confident. I would definitely encourage you to listen to that if that's something that you want to. Again, it's got spicy language. Some people don't like that vibe, which is totally fine. But the message, it's the message. Okay, so you are being encouraged to choose to move forward. I'm getting weapon in hand. 9 of Wands. This is someone who came off a battlefield. They are still holding their wand. They're still holding their saber, their tool, their weapon. But 9 of Wands, you will see this and people will go, oh, it's the defensive card. Yeah, they just came off a battlefield. But they just got off the plane. They're still holding their luggage. They just got off the battlefield. They're still holding their weapon. Okay? So it looks like there's someone walking around town carrying an unnecessary amount of baggage. It looks like someone's entering a conversation with an unnecessary amount of weaponry. Like, put it down, right? But they don't see the context. And this is someone who is 10 of Wands, okay, is next. It's either someone who's about to lay down this luggage, lay down this weapon, or it's someone that succumbs to it. So you're being encouraged to understand that you are carrying this message to the world alone. And that you deserve that love and that abundance that comes through it as well. And the way that that takes shape, there's a little more of a colorful, creative vibe to it that is special and for you and from you. And it's something that you're being encouraged to gift to yourself, and it will end up creating abundance for you. It's something that is a harvest. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Because then you get to write songs, which is your happy place. Instead of trying to be heard in this little corner of arrogant people who are like yelling over each other, and they're just trying to be heard. They're not even caring if what they say is authentic or right or wrong. They just want to be heard. They want to argue. They want attention. But you're in your happy place. You are listening to your heart. You're writing your book. You're writing your album. You are dancing, you're painting, you're creating, you're coloring, and that message gets sent. The message comes through, but it's channeling through a different frequency that is nonverbal. I keep hearing this part of Drop by The Far Side too, and it uses, like I said, spicy language, so I'm going to exchange some of the words. It says, people done sold their souls, so now their souls are hollow, and I think they can't follow. They can't swallow the truth because it hurts. This is how I put it down. This is my earth, my turf. The worth of my birth is $1 billion. And you know what time it is? I'm gonna make $1 million. I was gonna cut it out, but why leave you out of the fun? Anyway, yes. So it's talking about basically, you have something of value. You have something of value, but also you need to put down this luggage, right? And it's not because you've got all this baggage, you need to do the internal work. It's not that. It's, you're in a new, wonderful, exciting place, and you don't want to be carrying all your stuff around town, right? You've got a nice little hotel that's booked for you. You don't need to be looking like a backpacker, right? You go put your stuff down, you get settled, you take a little nap, and then you're out. You conquer the world. You write, you sing, you dance, you paint, right? You live your life, you do your thing. However, this is going to be fulfilling for you. And so you're being encouraged not to get lost with all the other people carrying their baggage. Just because you've got a weapon doesn't mean that you are actively being defensive. You're actively using it. You're a warrior spirit. Comes with the territory. That doesn't mean that you're always holding it. Doesn't mean you're always armed. And even if you are, it doesn't mean you're always defensive or you're always trying to fight. So, your throat chakra wants you to know to revisit your priorities and find ways of expression that are the least obvious to you, because they are the most authentic to you, and that you can still convey the same message and you will be fulfilled doing it. It will cause a little bit of a self-inflicted tower moment, but it will feel good. It will feel like something is cracking open, not falling apart. Okay? With that, you're going to feel happier, you're going to feel freer, and there's also this question of a decision of, do you keep it to yourself or do you share it? Okay? And that's something that you're being encouraged to take a look at the dynamic of a student and a teacher. Okay, I'm getting that in this position you are both, or you could be both in some way. You see yourself as both. And there's also a message coming through that when you see yourself as both, that is the gold. That's where the magic happens. Because, as Kanon says, any man who knows a thing knows he knows not a gosh darn thing at all. And we're just going to leave it there. Group number 3, that is your channeled message from your throat chakra. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Group 3, speak up. Or write it out, sing it out, dance it out. However you communicate, okay? Maybe it's with your body, maybe it's with your paint, maybe it's with your art, but speak up. I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you'd like a personal with me, I do have sales going on the whole holiday season between November through January, so keep an eye out, okay? They're on my Etsy store at Spiritualistik. It's in the description box below. My handle there on my spiritual shop is Spiritualistik, just like it is here. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, okay? Also, I'm interested to know what your desired medium is, if that's something you feel so inclined to share. You know, sometimes we want to gatekeep stuff, sometimes we want to share stuff. Okay, this is a safe space. I'd be interested to hear, do you dance? Do you write? Do you make music? Do you sing? Do you paint? Okay? So, if you want to drop a comment, I'd love to hear what kind of creatives we have in this space. If you're interested in exclusive content, you can find me on Patreon, and I also have a members channel here on YouTube for easier access. They are different, so I have one on YouTube, one on Patreon. I even have one on TikTok too. So don't forget to follow me over there on TikTok as well as on Instagram. And with that being said, you can meditate with me. It's the first link in the description box below. You have access to it forever, so I highly recommend adding that resource to your inventory, okay? With that being said, check out another pile or another reading, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.